government in place currently is on the platform of the APC, on the platform of the PDP, it is still the same government that they are going to be administering. It is still the same Edo State that they are going to be administering. So I'm taking it from them. And the records that we have, year in, year out, from that 2008, Edo State has always ranked among the top 10. That is a significant achievement. If you look at the profile of all the 36 states, yes, and if you bring your searchlight closer home to the 6 states of the South, that is even more impressive, because you will notice at a quick glance that among the 6 states of the South, Edo State and Cross River State, they are the, what should I call it? Somebody borrow me the word. They are the wretched cousins, you know. they are the cousins that are not very endowed. In terms of the 13% derivation that goes to the states of the Niger Delta, there are 9 of those states, 6 of them in the South. Those are the 6 states I want to talk. You look at those 6 states, the real states that take the huge chunk of the 30% derivation are 4. River State, Delta State, Akwa Ibom State, and Bayelsa. Edo State, Cross River State, leave for nothing. So if you bring your searchlight closer home to the South zone of Nigeria, and you look at how Edo State performs on the IPR front, it is good. I am not here to praise His Excellency Dr. Modi Okpebholo necessary, but I'm here to say what I have observed over the years about IPR. The state has always done excellently well. But the thing that excited me in the past few months that he has taken over the leadership of the state is in this same subject of IPR. In the last 3 months, as at the time he took office, the executive chairman of the Edo State Internal Revenue Service was on his way out. So there was a vacancy for a new executive chairman. He appointed a new executive chairman the following month in December, in the person of Honorable Oladele Bankole, who has since taken over as substantive chairman of that revenue agency, 6.4 billion naira per month. But when he took over in December, and the challenge, the target that is set for themselves was that we will raise the figure from 6.4 billion to 10 billion. When I read it as a wow, Edo State is not doing badly, even at 6.4 billion on a monthly basis. Let me show you at this point. Let me show you the records of 2023. Those are the most recent records that I have. The results for 2024 are not yet available. Otherwise, I will also be sharing them. But this is it. In 2023, this is what we have. Lagos State did $815 billion in 2023 in terms of IPR. I'll just round up the figures. The second highest state was FCT, that generated 211 billion. Number 3 was River State with 195 billion. Number 4, Ogun State with 146 billion. Number 5, Delta State with 114 billion. Number 6, our own dear Edo State with 64 billion. The remaining states that make up the top 10 were Kaduna, Kwara, Oyo, and Akwa Ibom, in that order. Now, if Edo State is targeting 10 billion per month, what are the arithmetic for 10 months? 120 billion. This will be about 100% increase of what they did in 2023. Now, if you take a look at another data, how does Edo State rank amongst the states of the south zone. I've already mentioned rivers with 193 million. I've mentioned Delta with 114 million. Edo State comes next in the south zone. While these figures might not impress you, what might probably open your eye is the fact that the typical states in Nigeria today that are at the back end of the ranking list, some of them will be doing figures like 10 billion naira for the entire year. I shared with you the figures of the top 10 states. Let me share with you the figures of the last 10 states in 2023. The bottom states in 2023. For instance, if you look at every state, they did 11 billion in 2023. If you look at a state like Taraba, it did 10 billion in 2023. Yobe did 11 billion in 2023 for the entire year. But as we have today, on February 4th, a news release was published from the Edo State Internal Revenue Service saying that the state had achieved and surpassed 10 billion naira in IGR in January. It was that news that made me to call the office of the executive chairman of the Edo State Internal Revenue Service. I couldn't reach out to him directly, but I spoke to the head of corporate affairs there. And I said, tell me more about this. And then he said, these are some of the things we've put in place. We've tightened the rope. We have ensured that there are tax heads that are already being collected before. We are in the process of beginning to officially migrate them and bring them to our tax books and all of that. And in a nutshell, the state was able to record that performance. Why is this a big deal? It's a big deal because the Nigeria that we have today, the federal allocation can't carry it. Any state that does not put on its own thinking cap and see how it can significantly raise its IGR, that state will not survive. And like I've told you, when you look at the South, the states that eat the fat when it comes to the 30% derivation are those four states. Edo is not among them. So for Edo State to be ranking like this is plenty of people. And for Edo State that within the last 3 months has turned things around in its IPR is plenty of kudos to the new administration. I am not speaking as one of its lieutenants, as one of its media aides. No, I'm speaking as an independent observer. This is what I've seen, especially an independent observer that is highly interested in this subject of IGR among the 37 subnationals of Nigeria. This is what I've seen. And as I've attended this 100 days celebration of the governor today, my heart is filled with excitement because I'm from Edo State too. So emotionally, I mean, you know the way it is when you're in Europe and then somebody says something credible and positive about Nigeria. You know the way you feel. That's also how I feel. It's like, wow, my state is on the run. Eh? My state is on the double. My state is making important and radical changes that will take us further. You know, all of that. That is the reason why I've come to make this presentation today. My message to the new administration is to sustain this tempo. Whatever you set your heart to. In Nigeria today, the typical Nigerian state governor can accomplish so much in the space of 4 years. Because there are a lot of things that don't work in Nigeria. I've talked about IGR today as the subject of my presentation. The typical Nigerian state that puts on its thinking cap, we double its IGR in 4 years. We triple its IGR in 4 years. Because there is so much corruption in the system, there is so much inefficiencies in the system, that if only the typical state governor is bold, courageous, and determined, and has a clear head about what he wants to do, he will increase his IGR in radical, in incredible percentages. That's the message that I present to the governor and the administration of Edo State. Stick to these plans that you have put in place. in your internal revenue service agency and ensure that you make it even better and better. It will only be for the benefit of the state. Typically, you look at the budget of a state in Nigeria, the money comes from three sources. The biggest being federal allocation, and then your internal generation, and the rest of the internally generated revenue, and the rest of these debts, whether domestic debts or foreign debts. Those are usually the three major components of the budget, of the revenue side of the budget of a Nigerian state. But the debt side of it is not too healthy, because if you don't pay back, it will remain there. The succeeding government will take it over. It becomes a burden on the state. But the one that is really key is IGR. That's the one that you have generated by yourself. That's the one that stays with you. It's your own money. It's not debt. It's not wasted. If you look at Lagos State today, Lagos is the only state that rivals the federal government. Sometimes the federal inland revenue service will send its officials to go and benchmark Lagos State internal revenue service. Can you imagine Abuja, Aso Rock, going to a state government house to go and benchmark on anything? But that's what the federal internal revenue service does. That's to tell you the power of Lagos State internal revenue service. They set the pace not just for their other states of the country, but even for the federal revenue agency. What I'm saying is the fact. If you Google it, you see. Many a times, the federal internal revenue service will lean on the Lagos State internal revenue service. Can you imagine that? Because that is the real power of the states, what you generate by yourself. If you look at the United States, states like California, states like New York, states like Texas, they have an economy that is as big as the world. The power of a federation, we are not tapping it fully. A federation should allow the states to be the best they can be, to go the highest level they can reach. That's the power of a federation. Allow the states to be the one that wants to take agriculture and make the most out of it. Let them run with it. Just like I told you at the beginning of my speech, what the Vice President said in 2019 when he was welcoming that class of doctors. He told them, go to your states, focus on agriculture, focus on taxes, focus on internally generated revenue. Don't depend too much on the federal government. That is also the message that I will round up today. And after celebrating this day, well, we wish the best of the family well. Pray that this next 4 years that we will see a lot of profound development in the state. And as it continues to make its impact in the area of internally generated revenue, the better for the state. Because federal allocation is something guaranteed. And whatever debts you are incurring, whether internal debts, you are only just to run the state will have to pay, whether we like it or not. But if you focus on generating funds internally in your state and revenue in your hand, you have food in your hand. Once again, I want to thank you for being our wonderful for the rest of this year and then the rest of this year. And audience, I think, for coming, I think, Jonathan, you have made our day. Thank you so much for being out of time here. And also some of our guests who have also come. Everybody has a nice schedule. Abuja does not start yet. But as soon as Abuja starts, as from 9 a.m., 10 a.m., everybody starts running. I tell people, I say, Abuja is not like Lagos. Lagos starts as early as 5 a.m. Abuja doesn't start until about 8, 9. But as soon as Abuja starts, if you run until midnight, you know, I want to thank all of such guests that are here. Thank you so much for making out the time to be here. We are grateful.
Better a round of applause for him. The sonority and the mellifluity of his vocal sound shows that he's not your run-of-the-mill public speaker. And I want to say we have sufficiently learned from your oratory prowess, your supportive materials, your eye contact, your gesticulations to mention, but that was a nice one from Mr. Frederick Apich. A round of applause for him once again. We will now take response by his distinguished guest, particularly from the high table, and this will give Honorable Oscar Aredo the ample opportunity to leave us with his wealth of experience, particularly what he has in the office for the great people of Obia North Federal constituency. Honorable Oscar Aredo is also the current APC chairman of Obia North East, as well as the aspirant leading the race to represent the great people of Obia North and the proper and fit credible replacement for the current deputy governor of Edo State, Right Honorable Dennis. Honorable Aredo, God bless you, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Let me stand on the existing protocol. For me, I came here as a guest, and it's obvious that we are discussing my state. I'm going to speak as a party man, and I'm going to speak as the chairman of the party. For us in Edo State, we are celebrating tomorrow. And I came equipped to attend this program because careful. For so many years. And during our campaign, he really dealt with us. And I said, let me come and hear from you today. I have been following his righteous, and I've been following his activities lately. He has shown that he's a man that is progressive, a man that sees white and calls hello, not on the basis of emotions, but on the basis of what is believed and is right. So, Mr. Convener, I want to thank you for this program. Where are you now? APC that our governor represents. Today we are doing 100 days in office. It is clear that we who are the core politicians, part of what we suffer after the election, when we go back to our constituents, our villages, our units, our wards, is to go back to tell them what we have done or the reason for them to vote for us again. We led the campaign for OKPEBHOLO's ambition. And today, as a chairman of the group, and we say 100 days in office is more like 4 years in office. 100 days of peace and tranquility in the state. 100 days and intangible things. But today, we are happy that we have a government that have a roadmap. We have a government that truly believes that all his promises, all his electoral campaign promises, that is ready to fulfill all of that. And that is why, for me, I'm happy, I'm glad to associate with the coalition of good governance to celebrate a milestone, an achiever, not just an achiever, a silent one at that. A man who has chosen to showcase himself through projects rather than rhetoric. So it's a day that our people, we are happy. When you go to Edo State today, the program for tomorrow, the excitement in the street, because it is clear that a new Edo has risen. So I want to thank the convener, members of the press, and everyone who have come to celebrate with us that truly Edo will be known for better. Thank you very much.
All right, the taste of the pudding, the Englishman says, is in the eating. Honorable Oscar Aredo has just demonstrated that he's not ill-equipped when it comes to the assignment he's heading for, if Providence favors him into the National Assembly. And again, we will quickly also want to give the microphone to a quintessential lady who has further give a public declaration that whatever a man can do, a woman can do it better. She has sufficiently sustained the cliches, and she still waxes stronger in it. Mrs. Cooker will also respond to the speech delivered by Mr. Frederick. Please, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Good morning, my colleagues. I'm honestly caught off guard because I am not in a good state. But I would say I've not been reading about every state, and it's gladdening to know that the state governor, the present governor, is doing so well, not just in terms of IGR, but in other areas. Like Mr. Edu said, I follow the convener of this event seriously. When he was CPS for Basek, we had the opportunity of working together because we were together with Adam Social Media, and he came in as CPS for Basek, so we were together. And we left him with Obasek. In one of his posts, actually, I have reason to comment that you didn't campaign for this man. He may not have known that I was the person that I responded to him on the WhatsApp group. And I'm happy that he has, is not moved by sentiment. It's not moved by sentiment. It has made the work easier for us here in Abuja, journalists in Abuja. Because ordinarily, maybe our offices may like assign those of us from Edo to do a special report on this or that. But with this event, it has made it easier. I've seen what they are saying to us to mark the achievement of the governor in 100 days in office. And I dare say that he is doing well. And my advice as a journalist is that the governor doesn't relent, and he should continue to bring on board people who can deliver. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's the Guru Chief of the news agency of Nigeria. A round of applause for her once again. And now we snowball into the questions and answer segment. The questions and answer segment. If you have any question to ask, beckon on the master of the ceremony. Oh, okay. Thank you very much. I don't know how far the microphone can travel, but so far. All right.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
It's like what I have is a word of advice for my performing God. Sincerely, I must confess, it was not my candidate. But when he came on board and started performing, the chairman of the party is a personal friend, Tony Passadia is a personal friend, my junior brother is a member, Ruben is in the party, Itwa, Fred is a personal friend. They tried to convince me on the need to support him during the electionary campaigns. I felt otherwise. But when he came to power and I saw what this man was doing, It's me trying to convince my friends and my brothers that I am a repentant OKPEBHOLO. That I believe I wrote something. Let PDP and ASWE leave these 4 years or 8 years for OKPEBHOLO to continue doing what it's doing and withdraw the case from this time. That leads me to the advice I have for the governor. Let his media aides stop pursuing shadows. Let them cease all the fire, what is it called in English? The fire break of attacking this thing. Let them concentrate on governance. Let them. We are for OKPEBHOLO. Edo people are for OKPEBHOLO right now. If mishap maybe ways are against the state, you will see the revolt in Edo State. Edo State with OKPEBHOLO. Let OKPEBHOLO